Hello and welcome. In this video, we'll have a look at how we play the marketing mix simulation game. This is the spreadsheet or the Excel game that the instructor will see. So if you're a student, you may or may not see this particular page. Down the bottom, we have input R1 for round 1, round 2, all the way up to round 5. There are input pages. If you're a student and playing in a team, you will have to fill in a decision form. You have to put in quality levels from 1 to 10, with 10 representing the highest quality of sound, picture, various features. We're looking at a smart TV market, so the higher quality pictures and sound are important. Then we've got a design level from 1 to 5, and that's how attractive the TV looks, its physical presentation, its style. And again, 5 is the highest. Then you set a retail price. And that's anywhere from 1,000 points to 6,000. Then you decide how many channels you will be using, how many retailer areas you'll be going through, so such as discount stores, department stores, specialty stores, online, etc. You don't nominate them, but you simply say how many you want to target and utilize. Then are you applying a discount? And in marketing, that falls under the category of a sales promotion, anywhere from 0 to 50% discount, and that will adjust the price, or this happens automatically, and how much you want to spend on the brand in terms of advertising and building the brand's credibility. All of these things will make a difference to your performance. So although this looks like a very complicated sheet, you will be one of these teams and you will be coming out with 6 numbers for your brand A, and then also for brand B, you'll also have 6 numbers which your teacher or instructor will enter for all the teams playing. So down the bottom here, this is also on the decision sheet, and these are very important metrics down the bottom here. So each time you increase your product level, I want you to watch the unit product cost. That's set at the lowest, quality level 1, design 1. If I make that 2, you'll see that the cost of making this particular TV has increased. I'll just set it back to 1. Okay, so as you increase, so this one here has 10 and 5. That's the absolute best quality TV and best design TV you can have. And their unit cost is 3,200. That's what it costs them to make and get that product into store, into a retailer. And this is the lowest quality TV you can make, and that's 400 points there. So your cost structure, as you can see, goes up because I've got these numbers generally going up. This would not normally happen in a decision game, but just to make the example quite clear. Then what happens is we work out the discount price based upon your price and your discount. So this happens automatically in the game, but you would work it out beforehand. So $1,500, we want a 20% discount, and that means the discount price in the store, what it actually sells for is $1,200. Over here, we've got 5,000, 25% discount, ends up in the store, 3,750. And the important number you can see in the bold here is the margin we are going to make. So for each TV that we manage to sell successfully, that's how many points we get in terms of revenue. So firm 9 has the biggest, they have 2,550 points, and firm 3 is the lowest. We have 50 points only. So what we're thinking about when we putting this together is there are underlying segments. There are 3 segments underneath. Segment 1 is the budget segment. They prefer a lower cost structure, a lower price, but they also want decent quality TV. So they're generally looking around the 2 or the 3 in terms of quality, 1, 2, or 3 in terms of design. So that's at the lower end. In the middle, typically these ones here, 4, 5, 6, 7, and associated design, 2, 3, 4, 5. They are our value-oriented segment there, and they're looking for a nice balance somewhere in the middle. And then at the top end, we've got our premium market. So I'll show you some market shares in a second, but let's just pretend this is 10 teams that have made a decision. I put no decisions in for brand B just to explain what's going on. So first thing we'll have a look at is the results tab. These happen automatically. So as we can see, we've got brand A and brand B. Brand B's got nothing in it at the moment. So it's all brand A, and it tells us how many unit sales, so how many TVs we've sold. So firm 3 has sold quite a lot, and the rest have sold, that's not great, 15,000, 28,000, 50,000. You can see that's just numbers of products that they're sold. This would add up for both brands for each company, and that gives us our market share. So you can see firm 3 has a 42% market share of units, and this company here, firm 1, has less than 2%, which is not great. Then it builds in the price, the end price, which is after the discount, works out your revenue. You've got a revenue market share. So you can see the firm 1 has only attracted 1% of all revenue out of 10 firms. Not great. Firm 3 has 20%, and you can see the other numbers there. Then we work out the cost margin. We've already worked that out, but it's brought into this summary table so we can see what's happened. That gives us a gross profit. So gross profit is based upon our margin. So our margin here is 800 times 15,000 odd sales gives us that gross profit. Now, coming out of gross profit, we need to cover our channel costs and our advertising costs. I'll talk about channel costs in a second, and that gives us our net profit. So you can see underneath there's a ranking. So firm 1 finished second last. They finished 9 out of 10. Our firm 3, who had an amazing 42% market share, finished last in terms of profitability. And the leading company at this time is firm 8. They had 8.8% market share, but they managed to make 87 million points, which is 10 million clear of team 2. Okay, so our key number we're looking for is this one here. What is our net profit from both brands? So our ranking, you guys want to be number 1, 2, or 3 generally. Okay, so let's have a look at the charts. So your instructor may show you these. So at each round there are 4 charts to look at. First one is unit sales, and this is just graphing from what we just seen. Unit total revenue in terms of total points, this is what it sells for in the store. Net profit, which is our important one, and then we have net profit for all rounds. So as we get new information, this will update, and they're shown underneath. So round 2 would then populate with round 2 decisions. But let's have a look at this. So we can see firm 8 and firm 10 are doing particularly well. Firm 9 fairly well. Bunch in the middle along with 2, and then we've got 2. Firm 1 and firm 3 are just not performing very well at all. Okay, so let's try and work out why that's happening. Got this share tab, which tells us what market share we have in each segment. So firm 1 has only managed to get 3% of the budget segment. Not great, and it's got no percent of the value segment or the premium segment, and a total sales of 15,000, which we worked out. Firm 3, that's doing particularly well, picked up 65% share of the budget segment and 30% of the value segment. So you've got to keep that in mind. You may be able to pick up sales in both. They picked up 300,000 sales there and another 34,000 there for total sales over here. Now these numbers won't add up. You can see that 42% is different. The reason is that the budget segment is larger, the value segments are medium size, and the premium segment is smaller. So this is a weighted average. It'll work out that way. So for example, they're doing 55% in the premium segment, which is the smallest segment. So their total market share is relatively small. They're doing 65% in the budget segment, which is quite large, gives them a very large overall market share. So this can tell us where we're doing well and not so well. But more importantly, why are our competitors doing well? So you can see I've got a bunch of companies here. 5 to 8 are doing well in the value segment, and then firm 10 is doing particularly well in the premium segment. But keep in mind, this is sales only. So we'll go back to our results, and we'll see that firm 8 has sold 74,000. Firm 10 has sold 55,000. But when we come down to the unit margin, firm 8 has a 1,300 margin. Theirs is a little bit higher, which allows them to catch up a little bit, and we get down to a $10 million differential. But they had a 20,000 sales lead. This company here in 5 has sold roughly the same as firm 8. We go down to their profitability. They only made 26 million. Why is that a difference? Even though they're selling the same amount, you come down to margin. Their margin is 400. Their margin is 1,300. So margin is quite important. Now to highlight this, they have 42% market share. They sold a lot of TVs, but an average margin of $50 only, because they had quite an aggressive discount. And they only made $2 million. So just because you sell the most doesn't mean you're going to make the most money. So you've got to sort of balance this out a little bit. If we go back to the decision of firm 3, you can see they have a 50% discount there. Okay, that's obviously too aggressive. So you've got to have a look at what's happening. So if I was to change that to 25%, we can see our margin has gone from 50 to 550. The results are updated straight away, and we can see that we are selling a lot less units. We had 300,000 there before. Our market share is about half it was, but we are making a lot more money. And look at that, we are now making 93 million. And we look at how we compare, we are an equal leader virtually. Again, if I come back here and say 50%, we're going to sell a lot of product, but no margin. We go back to our results. We're back to our $2 million result. Not great. So the way this works is everything is dynamic. So you've got an instruction sheet to look at, but discounts, pricing, very important. The number of channels that you use will affect your reach. So this one's got 2 channels. They're reaching 75% of the market. If I was going to have 1 channel, I can only get to 50%. 3 channels, I get to 90%. So why wouldn't you go for more channels? There are 2 reasons. Each time you add a new channel, you need to spend 2 million points supporting that channel in terms of your sales team going out. And if you have too many channels, it may damage your brand equity. Not shown here, but underneath is the brand equity score, and that is factored in. So please read through the information sheet. Lots of helpful advice in there. And as you work through, just think about how we can adjust. So obviously, firm 3 has made their decision, but let's go forward. And I've just duplicated. I'm now in round 2. And instead of making these the exact same decisions, change that there. And I've just made up some random decisions for brand B, because you'll be competing against a second set of brands as well. And I'll just show you the chart. So we can see this is round 2, and team 3 has made 50 million in that year. Not catching up, but certainly becoming competitive. If you could compare where they were. So by making some changes, they are now advancing. And obviously the second brand that they put in place has an impact. So in terms of targeting, you can choose to target one particular segment. with both brands, or if, of course, you've got two brands, you can choose to target both segments, two segments out of the three. And keep in mind, depending on how you structure it, you may be able to pick up some sales in multiple segments. Obviously, the products targeted at that segment do particularly well. Let's just have a look at Firm 8. They're picking up good sales in both the value segment and in the premium segment. So they're Firm 8. So we'll have a look at where they are. And they're halfway between, so the scale goes up to 10, so they're at 8 and 3. So they've taken a midpoint position, okay, as opposed to teams 9 and 10. So you can see 10's doing very well. If I come back over here, sorry, and then make this design a bit higher, obviously it's going to cut our margin. But let's now have a look at what happens to the share. So you can see they've jumped up because they are now far more suitable, and Team 8 is becoming more of a value segment brand. So keep that in mind. And let's go back up and see what happens. Those actually strengthen their advantage. They haven't changed much, but 9 has taken profits off 10. They were 77 million before. If I just reverse that and show you what happens. Again, it's all dynamic. So you can see that was the position. So if 9 had taken a more aggressive design, make that 5, it jumps back up. Oh, sorry, wrong one. Okay, so you can see it's very dynamic. Your challenge is to work out what is working in combination. We've got advertising. I haven't talked about that, but obviously advertising would help. Aggressive promotions will help. The right balance of channels for coverage versus brand, pricing and design. All of these factors in, and then you've got to think about what your competition is doing. But like I said, there's information that you'll be given plus a decision sheet, and just take your time with it and enjoy the game.